As with the previous days this week, I have a plan for a slightly longer Shavasana. Not a hugely longer Shavasana, but enough so that we can do a specific technique to help us settle. And this one's more breath related. The last couple have been more based on a body scan. And I like to bring these tools because then if you're in a Shavasana where you're not finding a natural way of letting go through your body and through your mind, then you have a tool that you can pull from your toolbox to use, whether it's suggested by the teacher or not. And so as we move through a practice today, the intention again is to allow ourselves to prepare for being still, because there are a lot of benefits to being still. Our culture, our Western world, has a tendency to have the habitual pattern of fidgeting and moving and needing to move all the time. And what that stops us from doing is being able to notice in the moment. It stops us from being able to let things digest on a cellular level. It often stops us from actually being able to sense some of those body sensations that are showing up to help us identify emotions. And so this does tend to be a way of avoiding that we all do, whether we realize it or not. We all fidget. We all almost try to get out of the situation by moving a little bit. And so in our practice today, not just at Shavasana, we'll practice coming to some stillness after those movements, after getting into the posture, allowing ourselves to be still and notice what comes up, okay? So as you sit a little taller, as you maybe move your sitting bones back and broad, maybe create a little propping for yourself, lift up tall through your sides, draw your shoulder blades onto your back. Eyes can be open or closed here. That's always an option. Take a couple of deep breaths and shift in your seat. Purposely fidget. Purposely move. And then purposely come to some stillness. Allowing the only thing that is shifting to be your breath. Letting your breath be long, deep, and full. And even allowing yourself to notice that moment where maybe you have an urge to fidget, to move. And sit with that desire for a moment without actually fidgeting. Just sit with the desire to fidget and see if maybe after sitting there through it, it passes. Bring hands to connect at heart center. And with a gentle press of palms and a lift of your heart, take a deep inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose to bow toward your heart. And softly allowing your eyes to open and releasing your hands down. Lengthen up through the crown of your head. And because it's springtime and some of this twisting is super helpful to work through some of the stagnation of winter, we'll take a couple twists from our seat. So inhale longer. Exhale, reach right hand across to your left knee or thigh, left fingertips behind or beside. As you inhale and sit taller, find that tilt of your belly a little forward. Exhale, ribs draw in to help you twist. Now do this one more time, allowing that larger movement as you inhale to sit tall and exhale to draw ribs in and twist. And then find some stillness here in this twist where the only thing that's shifting, the only thing that is creating movement is your breath. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, take that twist over to the right side. Right hand to near thigh. Just kidding, left hand to near thigh. Right fingertips behind or beside. And then again, find that big lift through your heart. Find these big movements first. Tilt of the pelvis forward. Exhale, ribs into twist. One more time with those bigger movements. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, ribs into twist. And then pause here, letting your breath be the movement, but letting the movement in the body be very minimal. Let it only happen because of your breath. Inhale, come back into center. We'll switch the cross of our legs now, coming to the less comfortable cross for yourself. Shift your sitting bones, moving them back and broad. And now with your hands coming out to your knees, we'll take this twist a little bit deeper. If that's in your practice, you can always keep it more of a gentle twist. Press down with hands, lengthen up through your sides. And now as you reach across with your right hand to your left knee or thigh, press down with your fingertips behind you and lengthen. Find that bigger movement. Exhale, ribs into twist. And now we're reaching the left arm to the sky if that feels good. Again, that's always an option. Take a bigger movement with the inhale, lifting up your whole rib cage. Exhale, ribs into twist. And then allow some stillness in the body as the movement happens from the breath. Inhale, come back into center, unwinding. Exhale, take that twist across to the right side. Find that length, that big lift through the heart space, the tilt of the pelvis forward. Exhale, ribs into twist. And now as you're ready to, if you would like, you can reach the right arm to the sky. Take another big inhale, find that big lift of the ribs. Exhale, ribs into twist. And then allow that stillness, even as your breath does its job. Inhale, back into center. And now we're coming forward onto hands and knees. And from hands and knees, we're setting ourselves up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. As you root down through palms and fingertips and find that rotation of elbow pits forward, upper arm bones are rotating. Push, expand into the upper back. Tuck toes, lift hips, downward facing dog pose. And if your body is saying, no, too soon, then maybe stay on hands and knees. Now keep that rotation of your upper arm bones and then a push from your back muscles out through your hands. Bend your knees and send your sitting bones up. And instead of pedaling out and moving here, now we're going to come to some stillness in the body, holding that alignment that you just kept and allowing the breath to be what helps create maybe a little more space, but ultimately an opportunity to be with what shows up. And now walk your way forward, coming into your forward fold at the front of your mat, taking as many steps as you need to get there. Blocks are always welcome. Take an inhale and bring your hands up above your knees to lengthen. Send your sitting bones up. And exhale, fold over your legs. Bigger pulses here. Inhale, lengthen with your breath. Exhale, fold over your legs. 3 more. Let big movements happen as you breathe. And then after that third breath, you're finding a place of stillness in your fold. Oftentimes we hold on to opposite elbows and sway or ragdoll. I want you to find a place where your body can be more still, and instead your breath is what's creating some slight movement. Notice in your body any of those sensations that have shown up from what little movement we've done so far. And now hands to hips, press back on hips, lift up with shoulders and elbows, rise all the way up to stand. And as you come up to stand, turn your palms forward. And then take a look down at your feet. And for a moment, shift side to side. Shift the weight to one foot and then the other, letting one foot get light and the other get heavy. And notice as you shift from side to side, that change in pressure, or maybe change in what you feel for texture, whatever it happens to be. Notice that. And then as you come to stillness, even pressure through both feet, even pressure through the fronts and the backs of your feet. Palms are turned forward, lift your shoulders up and back, and then eyes can be opened or closed. Take a full breath, letting there be little movement, only the movement that happens with the pulsation of breath. Then as you softly open your eyes, settle your hips down, bending your knees, reach your arms for your chair pose. And you might choose to keep your hands at your heart or your hips instead. As you settle your hips back, think of rotating inner thighs back, sitting bones way back. You'll notice weight rocking a little further onto your heels. And then I want you to consciously push your toes down. From that place, tone the low belly and the ribs. And then lift your heart a little higher, bigger movement there. Then allow yourself to settle just a little deeper, and then find just the movement of breath. Let yourself find a long, deep breath that's calm and full. Now exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, lengthen part way, extend your heart. Sitting bones lift. Exhale and fold. And then notice as you come to this fold in a more still place perhaps than usual, notice with your breath the sensations of the body, maybe the muscles that were just worked by being in chair pose. Now plant your fingertips, step right foot back into your lunge. We're turning and planting our back heel so your foot's parallel to the back of your mat. Bring left elbow to your knee, right hand to your hip for this side angle pose variation. Bend into your front knee and turn it more open as you turn your belly and your heart more open to the right. From there, as you push down with your elbow and let your ribs expand, you're welcome to stretch your top arm up or over your ear. Take another full couple of breaths as you let yourself find stillness in this place. And as you find stillness, maybe notice here what little shifts your breath makes. And maybe where the sensations in your body are starting to happen. Now root down through your feet. Inhale, rise all the way up to your warrior two, staying deep into that front knee. Take a full big breath. Arms lift to shoulder height. Take another full inhale and exhale as you settle in and try to create a little stillness. Now tuck your back toes, turn your hips toward the front of your mat and reach arms up, or maybe come to cactus. Your choice. Find the position with your arms that feels best in your body. Wrap back with your left hip. Think of rotating your right inner thigh back so that you might feel your heel try to move out to the right. A little broadening there through the upper thigh and up into the low back. Take a big breath. Then deeper into your front knee. And then come to some stillness as you breathe. There's my husband sneezing. Exhale, hands come down to the front of your mat. Step back to a downward facing dog pose. Take a full big breath. Find those bigger movements of alignment that we come to every time we do our down dog. And then allow some stillness as you breathe. And now we're stepping right foot forward in between our hands, and you're welcome to bring your back knee down to get there. You don't have to take the full step all at once. You can also use your props to help you get there. Then turn and plant your back heel. Inhale, lift your torso. Just kidding, we're coming to side angle pose first. So right elbow to your knee, left hand to your hip. As you settle into your front knee and open it up, also turn your heart open. Press with your elbow to find that lift through the ribs, and then find the stretch, maybe up or over the ear. Your hand can always stay at your hip instead, but then bend deeper into your front knee and open it up again. As you come to some stillness in your pose, let your breath be deep and full. Notice with that breath, what is expanding and contracting, what's working in the body. Now root down through your feet. Inhale, rise up to your warrior two. And as you settle into your front knee and open it up, check it out and notice. I know for me, my quads have some fire in them right now. So as you notice that, whatever it is for yourself, take some big breaths. Allow your breath to calm. Allow your body to come to some stillness, even through the work. Now we're tucking back toes and turning our hips toward the front of our mat, coming into our lunging position. As you settle into your front knee, once again, wrap back with your right hip. Inner thigh on the left leg is pushing up and rotating, so your heel might feel like it's moving out to the left. Take a big deep breath. Tone the low belly and the ribs. Find that stillness in your pose where you can be with what's there, even if it's a little uncomfortable or a lot uncomfortable. Exhaling, hands come down to the front of your mat and step all the way back. And this time, let's bring knees down, hips to heels. Take a child's pose. As you take that child's pose, take it in. Notice what has shown up in your body. Child's pose, I find, is one of those great places to experience the expansion and contraction of the breath without much other movement in the body. So first, shift and adjust. Shift your hips, move your arms, find that comfortable place for yourself. I've been liking bent elbows with first finger and thumb coming to connect in a triangle in front of me personally, but you get to find what works for you. And then come to some stillness, but let your breath be deep and full. And now use your hands for support to push yourself up to your seat. And then you're coming all the way down to sitting bones. From your sitting bones, we will work through a couple of stretches from our seat. And as with everything else that we've done, we're trying to find those bigger movements, shifting alignment pieces first. And then as we settle in, trying to come to some stillness. First one is this variation of pigeon pose that I have been preferring lately. So right thigh is coming right up against the side, the right side of your mat, with your right shin parallel to the front of your mat. Left thigh straight out to the left side, shin parallel to the side of your mat. And from this place, just notice as you sit tall, if there is a big sensation, sometimes that happens in this left hip. Sometimes it happens in the right hip. You get to notice what that is. Give your feet a little engagement. Turn your belly more towards your right thigh and lift your heart up high. And now as you walk your way forward, keep your spine long. Think of leading with your ribs and collarbones. And then come to the place of settling either elbows down or head on hands or whatever it happens to be, maybe using a prop for your hands or arms or head. Then as you take a couple deep breaths, let yourself get a little longer through the spine, maybe settle just a little further. And then let yourself find some stillness here. Letting your breath be what's doing the work. And specifically, your breath gets to do the work of helping you settle and calm around whatever sensations are there. So if you have a lot of sensation somewhere, see if with your breath, you can notice a softening. That doesn't mean that the sensation goes away entirely. But maybe your muscles say, okay, I can be here. And now inhale, work your way back upright, longer through the torso. And we'll just shift to the other side. So bring the left leg out to the front, inch your hips over toward the left side of your mat, left thigh parallel to the side, shin parallel to the front of your mat, and then right thigh straight out to the right, shin parallel to the right side of your mat. And then from this place, as you sit tall and turn your torso more toward your left leg, just notice here any other sensations that might be present on this side. Maybe different, maybe the same. Take a big inhale, grow longer. Stay long through your front body as you walk your hands forward and find your way into your variation of this pose. And remember, you're not symmetrical. No one is. And so if a difference in where you set yourself for arms on the floor or arms on a prop happens on this side, then honor where you are. Take some full breaths. Let these first couple help you to get longer. And then maybe settle a little further. And then as you find some stillness, bring that awareness to where you're feeling a little or a lot of sensation. There's no right or wrong answer. See if allowing your breath to get longer, deeper, more full, and also soft might help to ease around the edges of that sensation. Now use your hands for support to bring you back upright. And then we're bringing our right leg out in front. And we're going to make our way all the way onto our backs. From your back, being sure that you have props handy. And then starting off with that drawing of your knees in as close to your torso as is comfortable. So that might be in the center or out toward the sides, whichever feels best. And then rock. Maybe noticing a little lengthening through the sitting bones toward the front of your mat, or toward the foot of your mat, I should say. And then do those little pulses here, pulling these in for a little bit more compression and releasing them. Pull in and release. And it doesn't have to be a deep compression, it can just be a little bit. And then as knees come together above your chest, or a little ways from your torso rather, we're going to take our knees over to the right side to start with. And I want you to notice if, when your shoulders stay down, if it helps to put a prop in between your knees or underneath them, then find that for yourself to help that left shoulder be comfortably all the way down. If your shoulder is still lifted, then maybe move your shoulders over in the direction of the twist, into the right, just a little bit to help both shoulders be down. Now you can come to a T, a cactus, maybe you come to a half cactus and then take your right hand to rest against your thigh. Find what feels best right now. Make whatever shifts and movement you need to make, which might even include removing a prop. And then as you let yourself come to some stillness, let yourself be aware of that expansion and contraction of breath. Sometimes eyes closed can help you really tune into something that's present in the body. So you're welcome to try that here, to notice a specific place that might be experiencing a stretch or a tension. And now we're bringing our legs back up to center. And then you may or may not use the same propping on this side, but take the legs over to the left. And maybe inch your shoulders a little over toward the left. And then find the variation for the arms that feels good on this side. And again, it might be different than the other side. For another couple of breaths, adjust to make it as comfortable as it can be. And then as you come to stillness, bring your awareness to where your body is affected by your breath. And now bringing legs back up to center. Take your prop out and set your footprints on the ground. And now dropping knees in together toward touching or all the way to touch, whichever feels best. You can allow your feet to come wide a little bit if that helps. But then take both hands to either your hips or one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. Or if it feels best to relax your arms out, you can. But I want you to notice for a moment. Trying to let go of any fidgets, any movements. And just let your breath help you. Do a little body scan here. Noticing body sensation. Any aches, any pains, any temperatures. And notice the expansion and contraction of breath. And now choose that last movement that would feel really good to you before we settle. We spent quite a bit of time being more still than usual in our practice. So if you really need some good movement, take it now, or be still in a pose. Happy baby pose, bridge pose, spinal twist. Whatever that looks like for you. Without any judgment, you can even recognize your own natural tendency for either desiring movement or stillness. You have about 20 seconds left, taking whatever movement is right for you in your body today. And then as you feel ready to, we're gonna come to a Shavasana that is well set up for you. So if that means propping yourself or covering yourself up or whatever else would be helpful, maybe that's coming to a seated meditation instead of laying down. That place where your body can come to stillness. And once you get to where you feel is your best Shavasana this morning, take a couple more breaths to shift and move. And then allow your body to become still. Allow yourself to begin to notice that wave of breath. Noticing the expansion and contraction of the inhale and the exhale. And notice for a moment where it is that your body might have an urge to move a little bit. And see if you can just notice that desire without actually moving it. And see if it passes. Now begin to start to count your breath a little bit. And you can let this go at any point. But we're going to inhale for about a count of 4. Slight pause at the top. And exhale for a count of 8. Slight pause at the bottom. Inhale for 4. Pause. Exhale for 8. Pause. About 3 more of these rounds at your own pace. And letting go even of the work of the breath. Bring awareness back to your breath. And bring gentle movement into the body that feels good to you right now. As you're ready to bend your knees and roll over to your side, then gently press yourself back upright to your seat using as little core strength as possible. With hands coming to connect at heart center. Take another moment here with eyes opened or closed to notice what sort of stillness is still present for you. Have a very peaceful, very beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.